The space station called Draxon Hub floated quietly in the deep dark of space. From far away, it looked calm and peaceful, with bright circles of lights around tall docking towers. But inside, everyone knew the truth. Draxon Hub had secrets, dark markets, and silent deals. Many alien species came here, and not all of them had good intentions. Hidden rooms, closed doors, and greedy traders all formed the station's real heart. In one dark corner of the station, a long hallway echoed with heavy footsteps. Armed guards marched forward, and behind them walked a young alien girl. Her hands were locked in glowing cuffs, but she did not fight. Her skin was pale blue, and gentle patterns of silver lines ran across her arms and cheeks like soft paint. Her eyes were large and bright, shining like stars. Her name was Lyra. She walked silently, staring at the non-stop machinery of the station. Robots carried boxes. Strange aliens shouted prices. Bright screens showed numbers and deals. Lyra did not understand everything, but she understood fear. She could feel it in every look she received. The guards pushed her through a metal gate into a wider room. Above her, a hologram sign flickered. Work Market Hall, special auction today, people gathered, whispering. Some aliens looked at her with cold interest, as if she was only a tool or a prize. Lyra hugged herself slightly. She did not know where she would be taken. She did not know if her home would see her again. She only knew one thing. She wanted freedom. On a high stage, a tall man with sharp eyes shouted loudly, "Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a rare guest. Look at her markings. Look at her eyes. She belongs to a species with special energy resistance. Very useful." Some aliens murmured, impressed. Others raised eyebrows. Lyra lowered her head. She hated being spoken about like she was not alive. "Start the price," the man yelled. Before bidding could begin, the crowd parted quietly. Someone walked in, their steps calm and steady. A human. He looked young, maybe in his late 20s, with dark hair and warm brown eyes. He wore a simple engineer's uniform, not fancy or rich. His name was Evan Rhodes. People whispered his name because he had a reputation. He fixed machines no one could fix. He saved lost ships. And most of all, he did not like this dark market. When the auctioneer saw him, he frowned. Evan Rhodes. "Here to watch?" "No," Evan answered calmly. "I'm here to take her off this list." The crowd laughed. One alien barked, "Humans cannot afford anything valuable here." But Evan simply placed a small metal card on the table. It glowed brightly. It was a galactic freedom permit. Rare, very expensive. "I am paying to free her," Evan said. Silence filled the room. Even Lyra lifted her head slowly, shocked. She had never seen kindness here. The auctioneer's face twisted. "That permit is worth enough to buy 10 workers." "That's why I'm using it," Evan replied. "She deserves to be free." After some angry muttering and law checks, the auctioneer sighed. The station rules were clear. A freedom permit overruled any auction. The glowing cuffs unlocked with a soft sound. Lyra stared at her hands, unable to believe it. Slowly, she looked at Evan. "You freed me?" she whispered. Evan nodded gently. "You don't owe me anything. You are safe now." Lyra's voice shook. "Why?" Evan smiled softly. "Because no living being should be forced to serve." Those simple words warmed something deep inside her chest. Evan led her out of the hall. They walked through long corridors lined with neon signs. Lyra stayed behind him like a quiet shadow, afraid the guards might chase her. "Don't worry," Evan said without looking back. "Nobody can undo a freedom permit." Lyra's shoulders relaxed slightly. They reached a docking area where a small but beautiful ship stood. Its metal sides were smooth and silver, with gentle blue light lines running along the edges. The name Brightstar was written on the side. "This is my ship. I am heading back to Earth's orbital platform." "You can come with me if you want," Evan offered. "If I want?" Lyra asked, confused. "You give me choice?" Evan chuckled. "Yes, you choose your path." Lyra had never heard such words. She nodded slowly. Inside the ship, everything was neat and clean. The lights were soft and the air smelled fresh. It felt like safety. Evan guided her to a seat. "You must be hungry." He handed her a small box with food cubes. They tasted simple but warm. Her eyes softened. "You eat too little," Evan joked. "Don't be shy." Lyra quietly smiled for the first time. When the ship engines hummed to life, Lyra watched the stars through the window. They looked peaceful, shining across space, but her heart was full of questions. "Why did you help me?" she asked again. Evan sat across from her. When I was young, my father was trapped by raiders. Some aliens freed him. They told me kindness is a circle. If someone helps you, you help another. I want that circle to continue. Lyra listened quietly. The story touched her. She wanted to believe kindness truly existed. As the ship traveled, Lyra's eyes began to close. She had not slept for days. Evan noticed. You can rest, he said softly. You are safe here, she hesitated. Safety felt strange. But slowly, sleep pulled her down. Hours later, Brightstar landed on the Earth orbital platform, a high-tech station orbiting the blue planet. It was large, shiny, and full of human engineers, scientists, and pilots. When Lyra stepped out, she expected fear or anger. Instead, people looked at her with curiosity and gentle smiles. One woman waved. Welcome. Lyra froze. She had never been welcomed anywhere. Evan placed a hand on her shoulder, guiding her to his workshop. It was filled with tools, machines, and glowing parts. Holographic screens floated in the air. You can stay here until you decide what to do, Evan said. I won't force anything. Lyra touched a metallic part on the table, studying its circuits. Something inside her mind clicked. This machine is wrong, she said. The energy flows backward. It can damage itself. Evan raised his eyebrows. You can read alien circuits? She nodded. My people learn energy patterns since childhood. He smiled brightly. That means you can help me fix things. But only if you want, she felt excitement. Yes, I want. For the first time since she was captured, she felt useful. Not as property, but as a person. Days passed. Lyra worked beside Evan, learning human tools and teaching him alien methods. She watched how humans joked, shared food, and protected each other. They argued sometimes, but always forgave. She liked the sound of human laughter. It was warm like sunlight, but strange nights came too. When she slept, strange energy flickered across her skin like glowing tattoos. She did not understand it, but the silver patterns on her body grew brighter when she felt strong emotions. On the 7th night, Evan found her staring at her arms. Are you okay? He asked. Lyra nodded slowly. Sometimes, I feel energy inside me. My race has special abilities, but I never trained. I was taken too young. Abilities? Evan asked carefully. Lyra nodded. Energy control. My people can guide it, shape it, protect with it, but only a few are born with strong patterns. Evan leaned against a wall, thoughtful. Maybe the ones who captured you knew this. Fear touched her eyes. They wanted to use my gift. Evan's voice became firm. Nobody will use you here. We protect each other. Those words wrapped around her like a warm blanket. One afternoon, Lyra accidentally touched a broken power cell. Sparks jumped, but instead of burning her, they flowed into her hand harmlessly. A soft blue light spread across her palm. The engineers nearby gasped. How did you do that? One asked. Lyra pulled her hand back, frightened. I don't know. Evan stepped between them calmly. She didn't mean harm. Everyone relax. They trusted him instantly. Lyra whispered to him later. Why do they believe you so easily? Evan smiled. Because here, trust is earned, not forced. However, danger did not forget her. Somewhere on Draxon Hub, the criminals who lost their valuable worker slammed fists on tables. Screens showed Lyra walking free with humans. One leader hissed, She carries rare energy within her. Find her now. Ships began to move quietly across space, hunting. Lyra did not know her peaceful days were about to face shadows again, but she had found something new in humanity. Choice. Kindness, and maybe something deeper she did not have a name for yet. As she watched Evan laugh with his friends in the workshop, her silver patterns glowed faintly like tiny stars. Her heart whispered. Days passed on the Earth orbital platform, and the cold fear inside Lyra began to melt. Every morning she woke up hearing human voices laughing, arguing about tools, or greeting one another with friendly smiles. She had never lived in a place like this. The walls were clean, the air smelled like metal and coffee, and every corner was full of working energy. Evan woke up early, sometimes before sunrise, and Lyra would sit beside him in the workshop. They would repair ships' engines or broken technology brought by travelers. Lyra learned how human circuits worked, while Evan learned how alien energy patterns flowed. Slowly, they began to match each other's rhythm. One morning, Lyra held a broken engine piece and studied it silently. Evan leaned closer. What do you think? She traced her finger over a line. This part does not connect to the core. It leaks energy. Evan nodded with surprise. Your eyes are sharp. Humans normally miss that. Lyra's cheeks warmed slightly. No one had ever praised her intelligence before. A young human girl named Sarah, an engineer trainee, walked by and waved at Lyra. Want to eat lunch together today? Lyra blinked. With you? Sarah laughed. Of course. You're part of us now. The words hit Lyra's heart softly. Part of us. She repeated them silently. At lunch, Lyra sat at a long table filled with humans. They talked about ships, planets, silly jokes, and strange foods they tasted once on alien worlds. Lyra listened quietly at first, unsure if she should join. Sarah tapped her arm gently. You can talk too. We want to hear your stories, Lyra swallowed. My homeworld. It is peaceful. We live in energy gardens where lights grow like flowers. Everyone's eyes widened with wonder. Lights grow? One man asked. Yes, Lyra said softly. When touched, they sing like wind. More questions came, curious and respectful. Lyra smiled more than she ever had before. But not everyone was joyful. Far across space, the criminals who lost Lyra were frustrated. Their leader, Vekor, a tall alien with 4 glowing red eyes, glared at a screen showing Lyra on the orbital platform. Her energy markings are growing. If she learns to use them, she will be unstoppable. A second alien hissed. We must take her back before she awakens her full ability. Small attack ships prepared quietly. Their engines hummed with deadly intent. Back on the platform, Lyra continued working happily. One afternoon, she helped Evan install a new power core. Sparks flew unexpectedly and everyone backed away, but Lyra stepped forward calmly, placing her hand on the glowing core. Blue light wrapped around her hand harmlessly and the sparks stopped instantly. Engineers gasped. How did she do that? Evan's voice remained calm. Lyra can control energy better than any machine. An older chief engineer stroked his beard. Your gift is rare. If you want, we can help you learn to control it safely. Lyra froze. You would train me? Of course, the chief answered kindly. Nobody should fear their own ability. She nodded slowly, feeling warm inside. Training began the next day. They brought her to a quiet training room with smooth metal floors and energy sensors on the walls. Lyra stood in the center, breathing slowly as Evan watched from the side. Close your eyes, the chief instructed. Feel the energy inside you. It is like a river. Guide it gently. Lyra's silver markings began to glow softly. Blue light formed between her hands like a small sphere. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Everyone stared quietly. Good, the chief whispered. Now release it slowly. Lyra opened her hands and the sphere faded gently, leaving no harm. Evan clapped once. Beautiful control. Lyra looked at him with bright eyes. Thank you. But late at night, when everyone slept, Lyra sometimes dreamed of dark corridors and cruel voices. She would wake with her heart racing and markings glowing. When this happened, Evan would bring her warm tea and sit beside her without speaking. Just his presence calmed her. Humans care so much, Lyra whispered one night. That's what makes us strong. Evan replied softly. Not technology. Not power. Heart. Lyra placed a hand over her chest, feeling her heart beat. Yes, she whispered. Heart. Meanwhile, the criminals traveled through hyperspace. On board their hidden ship, Vekor stared at a glowing map showing Earth's orbit. We attack soon, he growled. But humans are many. Another alien warned. Vekor slammed a hand on the table. Humans are brave, but bravery cannot stop our goal. He did not understand humans well. After weeks of peace, the platform received a sudden alert. Red lights blinked on every screen. Alarms echoed through the halls. Soldiers ran to their positions. Evan rushed to Lyra. Stay close to me. What's happening? She asked, breath shaking. A fleet of unknown ships is approaching, he answered. The platform commander appeared on screens across the station. All civilians stay indoors. Defenders take positions. Protect our home. Explosions echoed in the distance outside the windows. Bright flashes lit up space as laser fire cut across the darkness. Lyra covered her ears. They came for me. Evan gripped her shoulder tightly. Then we protect you. Together. Outside, small human fighter ships launched into space. They moved quickly, defending the platform. But the attackers were aggressive. Vekor's voice echoed through open channels. Surrender the girl with silver markings. The commander replied firmly, "There is no surrender here. We protect the innocent." Lyra's heart raced. "Humans are fighting because of me." Evan shook his head. "No. Humans fight because it's right." Tears formed in her eyes. The battle continued outside the windows. Flashes of blue, red, and white filled space. The platform shook slightly with every impact. Engineers ran around preparing shield boosters. Lyra jumped in to help. "Connect the energy flow here," one shouted. Lyra nodded and placed her hand on a damaged panel. Her markings glowed brightly and the shield power stabilized. Everyone stared at her with admiration. "You're saving lives," Sarah shouted. Lyra felt strength replace fear. Suddenly the platform shook harder. An unseen force hit it directly. The commander's voice rang out again. "All engineers, defend the core. If it breaks, we fall." Evan grabbed Lyra's hand. "Follow me!" They rushed through the halls, dodging sparks and smoke. When they reached the core room, they saw the control panel smoking heavily. "If this fails, shields go down," Evan said. Lyra nodded and placed both hands on the panel. Her markings glowed brighter than ever before. Blue energy flowed from her into the circuits, repairing them. Screens lit up green. "We have shields," someone shouted. The room cheered, but Vekor's ship forced its way closer. He opened a communication channel. "Alien girl," his voice boomed. "You belong to us." Lyra stood in front of the camera, breath steady. "I belong to no one," Vekor laughed. "You are valuable. We will take you." Evan stepped beside her. "Not while we stand," Vekor glared. "Humans are weak," Evan smiled calmly. "Humans stand together." With anger, Vekor ordered, "Prepare boarding ships." Small enemy ships attached themselves to the platform. Metal claws dug into its surface. Doors blew open with loud bangs. Enemy raiders stormed inside. Human soldiers blocked them, forming defensive lines. "Protect the workshops," the commander ordered. "Do not let them reach the girl." Evan grabbed a protective shield device and stood at Lyra's side. Sarah and other engineers joined them. "We fight too," Sarah said bravely. Lyra looked around at all the humans standing beside her. They were ready to defend her without fear. Her markings glowed softly with emotion. "I am not alone," she whispered. The raiders reached the workshop hallway. The humans defended fiercely, blocking the path. Sparks flew as mechanical shields clashed. Lyra raised her hands, energy flowing naturally. Blue light formed between her palms. She guided it forward gently. The energy spread like a wave, pushing raiders back without hurting them. They slid across the floor, shocked and harmless. Humans cheered. "Amazing." Evan smiled proudly. "You are stronger than you know." The battle raged for hours, but humans refused to give up. Slowly, the enemy ships suffered too many losses. Vekor growled from his command seat. "These humans, they fight for her as if she is family," and he still did not understand. Finally, his officers warned, "Our weapons are overheating. We must retreat." Vekor slammed his fists, but knew it was true. Their ships detached and jumped to hyperspace, leaving damaged trails behind. Alarms slowly faded. The red lights turned green. The platform sighed in relief. Lyra fell to her knees, tired but unharmed. Evan caught her gently. "You did it," he whispered. "No." She shook her head softly. "We did it. Humans and me." Everyone around smiled, touched by her words. That evening, the platform held a small gathering. People clapped for engineers, soldiers, and especially Lyra. Children touched her glowing markings with curiosity. Adults thanked her for helping save the shields. Lyra looked at Evan under the soft lights. "I never knew humans had so much kindness inside." Evan smiled warmly. "Kindness grows when shared." She placed her hand over her heart again. This time it felt strong, and somewhere deep inside something new began to bloom. She was not just safe, she was home. Peace returned to the Earth orbital platform, but everyone knew it would not last forever. The battle against Vekor's raiders became a story people repeated with pride. Humans celebrated unity, teamwork, and courage. Many spoke about Lyra's incredible energy powers. Some called her a hero, but Lyra did not feel like a hero. She only felt thankful that humans fought to protect her. She still woke up at night sometimes, worried that the enemy would return. She would sit near the big workshop windows, watching stars like tiny candles in darkness. Evan often found her there. "Couldn't sleep?" he would ask gently. Lyra shook her head. "I fear they will return." Evan sat beside her. "You're safe. We are ready if they try again. Lyra looked at him carefully. Why do humans fight so hard for me? Evan took a slow breath. Because you're part of our family. Not by blood, but by heart. A warm feeling grew inside Lyra each time she heard those words. Slowly, her fear began to fade. In the morning, the platform commander sent a message to all staff. Everyone report to main hall for a special meeting. Evan and Lyra walked together with many engineers. In the hall, holographic screens showed images of damaged enemy ships. Officials stood on a stage. One official spoke loudly. The raiders who attacked us used illegal weapons and technology. We are now working with the Galactic Peace Authority to find their base. Another screen showed Vacor's angry face. Lyra flinched, slightly. We believe they attacked us because of Lyra, the official continued. She may carry rare energy abilities that they want. Everyone looked at Lyra. She lowered her head shyly. But instead of anger, she saw only support in their eyes. One soldier spoke. We will protect her again. Another engineer nodded. She saved our shields. We owe her, the commander spoke firmly. We will train more defenders. We will upgrade shields. We will not lose. Cheers filled the hall. Evan whispered to Lyra. See, you're not alone. Lyra smiled softly. Training became more serious after that day. Soldiers practiced longer. Engineers built additional blocks around weak areas of the platform. Drone cameras watched space for suspicious ships. Meanwhile, Lyra trained deeper with her abilities. The chief engineer guided her in the quiet training room again. Energy is emotion, he taught. Calm heart makes calm power, Lyra focused. Blue light formed around her like a protective curtain. She shaped it into circles, then shields. The chief nodded. Excellent progress, but something strange happened. When Lyra felt powerful emotions, fear, worry, or sadness, her markings glowed brighter than usual. The energy became stronger, almost wild. The chief frowned. Your power is linked to something deeper. Maybe your past. Lyra touched her chest. Sometimes I feel something locked inside. We will help you control it, he promised. On the platform, life continued with a mixture of work and hope. Sarah brought Lyra to new areas, showing her gardens, entertainment rooms, and star viewing lounges. In the garden, Lyra saw real plants. Their gentle leaves reminded her of her homeworld. They sing quietly, she whispered. What? Sarah laughed. Energy sings, Lyra explained. Everything has a voice, Sarah smiled. She did not understand fully, but she respected Lyra's way of seeing the world. Meanwhile, far away, Vacor was furious. He slammed his fists on a glowing map. We attacked with 10 ships and humans stopped us. His second officer replied, They worked together. Their defenses grow stronger, Vacor hissed. Then we must find another way. He turned toward a dark machine. It was large, round, and filled with humming energy. This device can absorb special power. We will take her abilities, even from a distance. The officers stared at it nervously. But we must be close to her planet's orbit, one warned. Vacor smiled coldly. Then prepare stealth ships. We attack quietly next time. As weeks passed, Lyra and Evan grew closer. They repaired machines together, ate meals together, and talked about dreams. Evan shared stories about Earth, oceans, forests, noisy cities, and quiet mountains. Lyra listened like a child hearing fairy tales. I want to see Earth someday, she said softly. You will, Evan promised, when it's safe. Lyra believed him. Sometimes she watched Evan from the corner of her eye. She admired how he worked calmly, how he smiled at everyone, how he never lost patience. Humans were strange, she thought. Hard outside but soft inside. Strong in body but stronger in heart. One evening, the platform lights dimmed slightly. Engineers began checking stability. Something felt wrong. Evan frowned. Power drop. That's strange. Suddenly, sensors beeped loudly. The security screens glowed red. Sarah yelled, Unknown signal near the platform. The commander's voice boomed over the speakers. All stations alert. We have a possible threat. Lyra felt her heart tighten. Her markings glowed quietly. Evan grabbed a handheld scanner. The signal comes from outside. They rushed to the nearest window. In the dark space, something shimmered, almost invisible. A shape cloaked in energy. It's a stealth ship, an officer shouted. Before they could react, a beam of light shot from the cloaked ship and hit the platform. It did not explode. Instead, it drained a part of the platform's power. Lyra gasped, feeling a pull inside her chest. "What is happening?" she whispered. Evan held her shoulder. "Are you all right?" "The machine. It is trying to take energy, my energy." Fear spread across the room. The commander ordered, "Activate anti-drain shields." Engineers worked quickly, but the beam grew stronger. Lyra felt weak, her knees shook. "It wants to take my power." Evan's voice became serious. "Then we stop it." Humans rushed to defense positions again. Drones flew out to attack the cloaked ship, but their shots passed through shimmering air. The chief engineer ran into the room, panting. "Lyra, your energy can block that beam." "You must try." Lyra trembled. "I am afraid." Evan gently lifted her chin. "Fear is normal. Courage is doing the right thing even when afraid." Lyra breathed deeply and stood. Her markings lit up like blue fire. She raised her hands and a shield of pure energy formed. She pushed it outward. The beam collided with her shield, and blue sparks filled the room. The drain stopped slowly. Lyra cried out softly, feeling pressure. "You can do it," Sarah shouted. Humans cheered, empowering her spirit. Finally, with a burst of light, the beam broke. The cloaked ship flickered and became visible. "Fire!" the commander ordered. Human defense cannons aimed and shot powerful bolts. The stealth ship shook violently. Vekor's voice echoed through communication lines. "She will be ours." Lyra responded with steady voice. "I choose my own path." A final blast hit Vekor's ship, damaging its engines. It drifted backward, burning slightly. Officers shouted in panic. Vekor growled, "Retreat." The damaged ship jumped into hyperspace, leaving behind crackling sparks. The platform cheered. Humans hugged each other. Engineers patted Lyra's back gently. Sarah wiped sweat from her forehead. "You saved us again," she laughed. Lyra collapsed to her knees, tired but relieved. Evan caught her before she fell. "You were amazing," he whispered. "No," she panted softly. "Humans are amazing." "You fight with heart?" Evan smiled. Later, in the medical room, doctors checked Lyra's energy levels. She was tired but healthy. "You are growing stronger," the doctor said. "But be careful. Your power is precious." Lyra nodded. The commander visited her bed. "We will call the Galactic Peace Authority." "With your help, we can find Vekor's base," Lyra agreed. "I want to stop them. For everyone they captured." The commander placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You have a brave spirit." That night, Lyra walked quietly to the star viewing lounge. The stars glowed like tiny ice crystals on velvet. Evan joined her silently. "You could rest," he said. Lyra smiled weakly. "Stars give me calm." They stood together, watching space. "I saw fear in your eyes today," Evan said softly. "But you still stood against it." Lyra looked at him. "I was not alone," Evan smiled. "Together is stronger." Lyra's markings glowed faintly like moonlight. For the first time in her life, she felt like she belonged. Not as a tool, not as a possession, but as a friend. And something more she did not yet understand. Somewhere deep inside her chest, a quiet voice whispered, "This is what heart means." And in the black distance of space, Vekor's damaged fleet planned revenge. But this time humans and Lyra would be ready. The Earth orbital platform woke to the hum of quiet morning lights, yet a tension lingered in the air. All knew that Vekor's fleet would not stay away forever. The last attack had been a warning, and every corner of the platform was prepared for the next. Humans were ready, engineers were alert, and the energy shields were stronger than ever. But Lyra sensed something deeper, a storm of emotions, a feeling that the coming battle would test not only her power, but her heart. Evan found her in the training room, stretching lightly before the day's work. Her silver markings pulsed softly with morning light. "You're up early," he said with a gentle smile. "I sleep less now," Lyra admitted. "I feel the energy around me. Something is coming." Evan nodded, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Whatever comes, we face it together." Lyra smiled faintly. Together. The word felt heavier than a shield, stronger than any armor. That afternoon, the alarms went off. A series of blaring signals echoed throughout the platform. Sensors detected movement far outside in deep space, a fleet of ships larger and more organized than before. Vekor had returned. The platform commander's voice boomed across all corridors. "Attention! Enemy ships detected. All personnel to battle stations." Protect the platform at all costs. Evan grabbed a protective harness and sprinted toward the observation deck. Lyra followed, her hands trembling slightly but her heart determined. Outside the wide windows, the fleet glimmered in the black void of space. Ships of dark metal covered in strange alien energy advanced quickly. Lyra could feel their intent like a cold wave reaching through space and into her chest. "They want me again," she whispered, almost to herself. "You are not alone," Evan said, stepping beside her. "Remember the shields, the team, the people who trust you. They fight for you, but you also fight for them." Her silver markings glowed brighter, reacting to his words. The warmth inside her chest spread, steadying the fear and turning it into courage. The first attack came swiftly. Vacor's fleet fired beams toward the platform. Shields flared and rocked, sparks scattering across observation panels. Humans rushed to their stations, shouting orders, adjusting weapon arrays, and readying defense drones. "Lyra," Sarah called over the comms. "We need you at the main energy core." Lyra nodded, following Evan through twisting corridors, passing engineers and soldiers all working with precision. Each step strengthened her resolve. When they reached the main energy core, chaos surrounded them. Sparks flew from damaged circuits. Panels displayed warning signals in red. Lyra took a deep breath, letting her energy pulse in rhythm with the platform's systems. Her markings glowed fiercely. A blue light formed around her hands, spreading over the core, stabilizing circuits that had been damaged by the enemy's beams. The core hummed steadily again, stronger than before. "You saved it again," one engineer shouted, awe in their voice. Lyra shook her head, smiling faintly. "We all saved it, together." Evan squeezed her shoulder gently. "You're doing more than saving machines. You're inspiring hope." Vacor's voice echoed across the platform's comm channels. "Alien girl, you cannot hide your power. Come to us or be destroyed." Lyra's heart raced, but she stood firm. "I will not belong to you," she said steadily. "I choose my own path." With that, energy sparked across her body. She raised both hands toward the approaching ships. Blue light pulsed outward, forming protective barriers around the platform. The shield strengthened, glowing brighter than ever. The enemy's beams hit her energy wave and bounced harmlessly away. The ships staggered, their systems disrupted by the intensity of her power. Evan watched her with pride. "You are ready," he said softly. "Yes," Lyra whispered to herself. "I am ready." The raiders tried again, sending boarding pods to infiltrate the platform. Humans stood ready, forming defensive lines in the hallways. Soldiers raised shields, engineers activated security barriers, and drones hovered in defensive patterns. Lyra took a deep breath. Her energy flared, surrounding her like a protective cocoon. She guided it outward, gently but firmly, knocking the boarding pods away without harming any of the raiders inside. Her markings pulsed in rhythm with the platform's heartbeat. Vecor watched from his command ship, fury etched across his face. "Impossible. That girl's power, she's controlling it herself." "Yes," one of his officers whispered. "She is stronger than we imagined." Lyra realized then that her power was not just in her hands, it was in her heart. Every act of courage, every moment of trust and kindness she had experienced with humans fueled the energy that now protected them all. Hours passed. The battle stretched into night. Explosions lit the void of space. Laser fire cut through the darkness, striking enemy ships. Humans fought with bravery and skill, coordinating attacks and reinforcing defenses. Lyra worked tirelessly, her energy flowing into shields, systems, and barriers, stabilizing the platform. During a short lull, she collapsed into Evan's arms. I cannot keep going much longer," she admitted, exhaustion in her voice. "You can," Evan whispered. "You are stronger than you think. Rest a moment. Then rise again," Lyra nodded. She felt warmth in his gaze, steadiness in his presence. A strange but comforting feeling bloomed inside her chest. She realized that she had not only found safety here, she had found someone who understood her, someone who made her heart feel full. As night fell fully, Vecor launched a final desperate attack. His flagship moved dangerously close to the platform. He activated a massive energy-draining cannon aiming directly at Lyra. The cannon's beam hit the platform, and Lyra felt it tug at her energy. The strain was immense. Her knees buckled, and her silver markings blazed like twin moons. Evan reached for her hand. "Focus, trust yourself." Lyra closed her eyes. She thought of every human who had helped her, every friend who had protected her, and every act of kindness she had experienced. Her fear and exhaustion melted. replaced by determination. Blue energy surged outward, forming a massive protective dome around the platform. The enemy beam collided with it and fractured, breaking apart harmlessly into sparks of light. Lyra's energy pulsed, expanding outward, enveloping the enemy ships temporarily and disabling their weapons. The human defense team seized the moment. Cannons fired, drones surged forward, and beams struck the enemy fleet. Vacor's flagship was hit hard, forced to retreat. The remaining ships fled as well, leaving broken trails in hyperspace. Vecor roared in frustration. "This isn't over. She will belong to us." But far below, Lyra stood with Evan beside her, her chest heaving but her eyes shining with strength. After the battle, the platform was quiet. Repairs began immediately, but no one ignored Lyra. Engineers, soldiers, and friends surrounded her, praising her bravery. She smiled weakly but genuinely. The platform commander spoke to her personally. "You have saved us all. Not only your life, but ours. Your courage and your power are remarkable." Lyra bowed her head softly. "I only wanted to help." Evan stepped beside her, putting a gentle hand on her shoulder. "No, you did more than help. You reminded us what courage and heart truly mean." Her gaze met his, and she felt warmth rush through her chest. For the first time, she realized that she was not afraid of attachment or connection. She had found someone she could trust completely. The next day, the Galactic Peace Authority arrived. They captured Vekor's remaining forces and dismantled his operations. Lyra provided intelligence on their methods, helping ensure that no other species would suffer like she once did. She had become a hero, not because of her power alone, but because of her heart and courage. She had earned her freedom fully, legally, emotionally, and spiritually. Evan stood beside her as the authorities completed their work. "What will you do now?" he asked softly. Lyra thought for a moment. "I will stay here with you. I have a home now, and I want to help protect it, protect others, and learn more about humans and their heart." Evan smiled. "Then stay, together." And so Lyra chose to remain on the Earth orbital platform. She trained, worked, and helped build a center to protect and aid other beings in need. She was no longer a frightened alien child captured by cruel hands. She was strong, confident, and free. But more than that, she had discovered something even more precious: the human heart. Not just the kindness of strangers, but the warmth, courage, and love of a single human who had believed in her when no one else did. Standing with Evan, she looked out at the stars. Blue light from distant planets shimmered, and the stars themselves seemed to twinkle in approval. Her silver markings glowed faintly, not with fear or uncertainty, but with confidence, trust, and joy. Her journey had begun in chains, but it ended in freedom. She had found her home, her courage, and her heart, and in that moment Lyra knew she was no longer alone. She had found not only freedom, but someone to share it with. The future stretched ahead of them like the stars themselves, bright, full of hope, and entirely their own.